Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you for your introduction, Goddess Renata.
Yeah, so let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and did you have a direct question at this very, very moment for Tim, or can it wait till we start?
Well, let me remind Megan that she's a goddess too. Okay,
Absolutely.
it's not just Renata, but you're a goddess too. All females in this Earth Spiritual Training School are goddesses in training, but we have been controlled to think we're not worthy to be who we are designed to be. So once you embrace that you're a goddess, you'll find that your dreams and desires will manifest sooner because you're embracing who you are. And the universal law of creativity honors you, and it wants you to be happy in who you are. So that's what will manifest your dreams and desires sooner, by embracing that you are a goddess. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Tim, sir.
No, listen. No, Mr. Tim, sir. We're all equal in this Earth Spiritual Training School. There's no like prayers like, "Oh Jesus, please, I love." No, we're just all friends. We're all just one. Okay. No one's above you. No one's below you. We're all friends, and there's no authority figure over anyone else here in this Earth Spiritual Training School. We're all equal. We're all one. Okay?
And with that being said, Tim, I wanted to make sure Megan knows, because you and I can talk later, Megan, but you can actually have a session with Tim. So I'll make sure you get that information.
Okay.
And I'm actually in his membership program. And so there's lots of great stuff in there. But I just, this is very cool. So we'll make sure that you can get in touch with Tim and have that additional discussion about some stuff. Would you like that?
Okay, thank you so much.
Absolutely. So I'm going to refer to everybody as who comes on as, I'll call you Goddess Megan. And Tim is the one that gave me the idea to do the goddess tag. That's where it came from. I was just Renata or Renata or Miss Renata. And then I just like the goddess thing, so I kept it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop and go ahead and record and introduce, and so we can have as much time as we need to. And hi, Miss Maria. All right, I'm hitting record. Record to this computer. Record to the cloud. I think record to the cloud. Enable.
Recording in progress.
All right. So welcome, everyone, to Conversations with Goddess Renata and Friends. And my dear friend and guest tonight is Tim Doyle and the Golden Ones. I met Tim maybe a couple of years ago, serendipitously, in another group that I was involved with. And Tim, your email appeared in my friend Danielle's inbox. And I said to Danielle, well, do you know who this Tim guy is? And she's like, no, it just appeared in our inbox. I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to go check it out. So I went to Tim's website and I'm like, okay. And then on there at the time, Tim had, you can do a consultation with me for free. And I thought, who does consultations for free for an hour in this day and time online? So I thought, well, I'm going to take him up on it. So I contacted Tim. We made an appointment. And then we had a wonderful discussion for like a couple of hours. We had a lot of things in common. But the one thing that Tim shared with me, which I feel is so crucial for everybody to know now as we evolve, is to clean up our act. I'll say clean up our act. Tim calls it the emotional parasite release, but really cleaning up your act is thoughts or things. And all those little things that roam around in our head, and we do the looping with them, wanting to figure them out. And sometimes we just have to send them on. I didn't know that. I didn't know that I could send them on in love. I could transmute them. I'm like, oh, that's deep. I don't need to share anything else about that. I find this technique very useful. I think aligning with Tim and his teachings and the Golden Ones is very valuable in anybody's life. And you can kind of take what feels good for you and leave the rest. You don't have to do all of it. But like Tim did mention, we're all equal. And if we weren't meant to be here, guess what? We wouldn't be here. So with that, Tim, do you want to introduce a little bit about yourself? Because our people here don't know you. You want to do that a
Sure.
little bit?
Yeah, I can do that. I am a student of the Golden Ones because it's not my teachings. The Golden Ones, when I was in meditation back in 1983, a golden light beam appeared to me into my mind's eye. And it was like I was watching television, like I'm watching you and Megan right now. My mind just opened up. Similar when you do the ayahuasca and you have a vision in the ayahuasca, your mind's eye opens up and it's like the visions they give you, you're like watching television. So in 83, and this golden light being appeared to me, he basically just appeared to me. And he gave me a necklace, put a necklace around my neck. It floated from him to me. And I just chalked it up as, wow, this was a very beautiful spiritual experience. And that was in 83. And then in October of 2012, I was in meditation in southern New Zealand, and a group of spiritual beings walked in from my left side, which is your spiritual side. And I didn't see them as clearly as I saw the vision in 83, but I recognized them and I asked them who they were. And they said, well, we came to join your meditation. So I just acknowledged them because in the past I have had spiritual dreams and visitations before. So I just welcomed them. And then in January of 2013, just about 2 months later, they started talking to me more, telling me to get up in the middle of the night. I used to get up at 3:30 to do my yoga routine. And they would wake me up at 2:30 and told me to go to the computer and type whatever I heard. And so I did. And when I got through typing, I read it and I thought, well, I can't accept this. How should I sign this? And they said, sign it as the Golden Ones. So which I did. And so since then, they've been teaching me, channeling their teachings to me. And I've been putting them out as their teachings. Don't follow me, they're not mine. I'm just like, they teach me things so that I can comprehend it. I'm a Virgo. So I'm perfect. I won't say I'm perfect. In my perception of doing what I do, I attempt to be perfect. So I want to be very particular in what I say and what the teachings I share to make sure that I know what I'm doing. And what I have to do in most of the teachings, I have to experience it first. Some of the craziest things that happen to me, but I have to experience it so I can learn how to overcome the challenge which is given to me so I can share that challenge to someone else. It's like inventing the wheel. They teach me to create the wheel so I can share it with someone else so they don't have to go through the innovation and the process of inventing their own. The wheel's there, the teaching's there, and it makes it easier to overcome life challenges. Now, why is this important now? Prior to, they appeared to me in October of 2012. On 21 December 2012, our solar system moved into a higher vibratory dimension from the third dimension reality, which was selfishness, to a fifth dimension reality, which is oneness, compassion, togetherness, good for the oneness of the universe. So everyone on the planet since 21 December 2012 is vibrating at a higher frequency. And what this higher frequency does It makes you more consciously aware of expressing yourself out of love, compassion, together, and oneness. And prior to 21 December, the expression of the souls on earth were out of a selfishness, which we couldn't see it then, but we're seeing it now. The corruption being exposed throughout the world in our banking system, in Hollywood, in our sports arenas, in the political scenario. Corruption's being exposed. It's being exposed because of the vibration of love, compassion, and oneness is vibrating where the old has to be removed and the world needs to come together in a consciousness of love, peace, harmony, balance, order, and unity for the good of all. So that's how.
That was a lot, Tim. I had my hand up.
I know, but
you missed
the
it.
thing
You're
is,
good.
it's not like, oh yeah, they appeared to me in '83. I have to make sure that you fully comprehend that it's not me, it's their teachings, and I just have to experience things so I can share the teachings and how to do things with them, with all my brothers and sisters in this Earth Spiritual Training School. Okay.
That's so lovely. I wanted to say we have one more guest that's appeared, Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Medium Amy. Hi, Amy.
Amy's microphone is blocked. There she is. Hi, Amy.
Okay.
Hi, it's nice to join you.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Amy.
So, Amy, Tim Doyle is our guest tonight, and so I don't know if you caught, we're gonna do the emotional parasite release, so we know that particular tool. That's as far as we've gotten, and Tim was, sharing a little bit about that. I was, Tim, I might backtrack a little bit and just share my little brief story about when you showed me the technique and how I worked with it and what happened for me. It's kind of a cool story, and a couple minutes. Are we good?
Yeah, go ahead.
Of course. So a few years ago, I met Tim. We had a very great, nice connection. And then he told me about this emotional parasite release. And I thought, well, that sounds cool. And he goes, do you have anything that, is hanging out there that you want to get rid of? And I really couldn't think of anything.
Fears.
Yeah, fears. And I thought, well, drowning, that's a good one. I've drowned in a few different lifetimes. I've had dreams about being on the ship, going down. Yeah, interesting. So, being a Pisces, you think I would know how to swim like a fish? Nope. Run in the opposite direction, go on vacation, do not get in the water. So we were in Mexico a couple years ago after I had a nice discussion with Tim, and I was on the beach watching a really strong swimmer almost drown. And we were watching, and then everybody was gathering around like, what's happening? What's happening? They got him out, and I heard instantly, pretend that was you. Right? So I watched myself drown, and I got saved. Not a problem. And then a night or so later, I was having in a dream, and I was running, and I got to a wall, and there was a moat. I jumped, swam to the other side, and I woke up going, wow. Because previously, all my dreams with water, I'm like drowning, and I can't get to the bottom. I'm pedaling. It's like trippy. And then all of a sudden, the energy of that drowning and that fear was gone. I still don't know how to swim. Haven't signed up for swimming lessons. However, the point of this is things that I thought I was good with, I wasn't. I just kind of repressed that. So this is really great just to clear the slate of a lot of little stuff that just circles in and out of our life all the time. I think that was a good one. Was that good?
That's good. Good for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look lovely, Amy. I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are you feeling better? You were under the weather a little bit.
I'm not leaving the house yet, but it's just, I think it's the change of way. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, and we just went from hot to cold. And so I think I'm just having a little adjustment.
Yeah, for sure. We're all having those things. I mean, we are here. We are here.
And
Good take care
Renata,
of ourselves.
I like the chat comment about your watery background. And then you live in Lakewood and
I know.
you're right by the Puget Sound. And I just think that's fabulous to have a relationship with water, even though you're afraid of it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no longer afraid of it. I respect it. And so,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And so now I'm like, if I'm going to venture into the water, I'll probably take a couple swimming classes at the Y. So then I'm like, I have that confidence, but I don't have that paranoia. I mean, like when it would rain hard, I would be holding on to the side of the car. And then George would be talking on the phone and he'd look over, talk on the phone and driving. I get you. But then he'd look at me like, honey, I'm gripping. I'm like fearful. Like, really? So, yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, our thoughts or things are very powerful. And Amy, medium Amy, yes. We had talked about doing a couple of things together. So I invited a few people just to kind of see what this is like, Tim. And yeah, we got 4, so that's good. Oh,
Now,
I pulled a couple
go. No, Amy, go ahead.
I pulled a couple of blessing cards just to kind of set the mood for myself. And they were caring and comfort. And
I
I
like
thought,
it.
oh, that's, as human beings that, all these higher minded things, sometimes we forget the basics about taking care of each other and comforting each other.
Isn't that
And when
true?
Tim was talking about the love and compassion and oneness, I thought caring and comfort are part of compassion.
exactly.
Exactly. And Amy has a regular I'm going to say a medium channeling panel. I don't know what else to say about it because we haven't talked too much about it. But you have a regular group of women that come together online and you do.
We get together physically.
Okay.
We're all in Phoenix, and there's 5 of us, and we just think it's so interesting, and we have fun together because mediumship work is always by yourself. And so the 5 of us get together and do platform mediumship. We hand out raffle tickets and we read as many people as we can. And everybody has their own style, and it kind of showcases, the personalities of the readers. Not every medium is exactly the same or has the exact same connections. And so it's lovely to have a community. And it's nice to meet you all. It's lovely to have community.
I mean, this particular connection that we have online is really powerful, and it's one of the ways that we really can support each other with more grace and joy. I was resistant to this, online presence because I'm old school where everything was like one-on-one and, that sort of thing. But I don't know, slowly I've just decided, yeah, this isn't bad. And Tim is in China. So, we'd have to get on the plane and then sleep and travel a little bit to go hang out with Tim. So we can
Yeah.
hang out with Tim and the Golden Ones this way. And I love that. And I would love more collaborations to happen. That's what this is really about, is, collaborating in this new age. It's super important.
I took a shamanic journey for a woman who was asking about her online business. And what they showed me was online is just so many more opportunities for the pinpoints to connect all the way to China, California, Arizona, up to Washington. It's just so many more connections than just the human beings close by.
No, absolutely. Like and in fact, one of the ideas Amy and I had is join the ripple. Yeah, we're the ripple in the pond. Absolutely. So maybe you will be a guest on Miss Amy's panel, Tim. That could be fun, and Miss Megan, possibly.
That's fun.
Yeah. No, I just want to I'm a bridge. I'm more of a bridge than anything, and kind of a nice looking dresser and all that good stuff,
All the fun stuff. And
All the
Tim,
fun stuff.
I listened to one from, I don't know if it's the most recent one, but the things you think of, Tim, there's somebody in our group that deals with dimensions, and it's not my strong suit, but it's very exciting. And especially the 2012 reflection because of the 2002, 2008, 2009 financial meltdown. Talk about corruption coming to the top.
Corruption, and Tim was mentioning about why that's all coming to a head, this disclosure, the high contrast that's required for people to go, oh, oh, really? Okay, I'm seeing it in Netflix movies. I'm seeing it like everywhere, only because I'm tuned to pay attention, but I'm just noticing the slipping away of so many things. It's fabulous. What you got to say about that, Mr. Tim?
Well, it's I've noticed this about maybe about 6 months ago, that where the corruption was starting to be exposed with politicians, and now in Hollywood with Diddy. And I too like a favorite player in the women's college basketball, Caitlin Clark. I started following her, and then she moved to the women's basketball professional, and they just treated her terrible, even though she set so many records and she was so professional and so forth, and she left. And by her leaving, it exposed the corruption in the Women's National Basketball League. And so now you've got that in Hollywood with Diddy, leaders in different states, immigrations in America, which is hurting the welfare of the citizens that belong in America. It's just in no other country in the world do they allow migrants just to come in. Well, they do, but it's hurting them in Europe. But China, to stay in China, I have to go through a routine once a year to maintain my visa, where they have to document me. I have to report in. I have to have a current passport and so forth. So, and I have to report to the police department to let them know where I am and if I change my address or anything like that. So in China here, and they have 4 times the amount of people than the United States, that they have a system set up where they monitor all the immigrants coming into China. So that's, China does some fabulous things that unfortunately is not being done in America, and so forth. So I can go on for hours about the benefits of living in China, but that's not. I'd rather talk about the benefits of each one of who's listening embracing who they are as a child of God, and that we're all created in His image and likeness, and we're all children of God. No more, no less. There's not one God that is over us. Not one God. We're all connected to the heart and mind of God. And so there's no one we have to sit down and pray to. We just have to be humble and respectful of who we are and how we relate to all our brothers and sisters in this Earth Spiritual Training School. So
I agree with that, Tim. And I was thinking about the disclosure and then thinking about the idea of fear. So false education, evidence appearing real. There's a lot of that going on. And for us that are evolving here, the idea of not being in the middle of that is a big deal. And that's where this particular emotional parasite release comes in. And it's very powerful because it's really, it can be challenging and overwhelming to be in the purview of all the things that are happening, that are, peeling away, and then not take a side, to be neutral. I mean, that's my goal, is to be neutral. Doesn't mean that I appreciate it or it's okay or I condone it, but the energy of neutral, to be in it and not of it, for me personally, allows me not to accumulate fears about that and not to block myself down.
There's in this Earth Spiritual Training School, there's two major universal laws that affect the soul's development. The first one is the universal law of cause and effect. What you do to another will be done unto you, which conditions the soul to monitor their behavior and the expression of who they are, their thoughts, words, and deeds. And the other one is the universal law of creativity. And when the soul vibrates at a high frequency, a soul that is happy, joyful, loving, sharing, compassionate, the universal law of creation, the soul vibrates at a higher frequency. And the universal law of creation recognizes the vibration of that soul, and it knows what's in the soul's hearts, desires, and dreams, and it will synchronize those desires and manifestations to appear in the soul's life so that the soul continues to be happy and compassionate and helpful to others and so forth. So what happens when a soul is fearful, afraid of drought, banking systems, nuclear war, extraterrestrial invasions, anything else that the people in charge want to create? They want to hold down the vibration of the soul, because when you're in fear, you don't vibrate at a high frequency. In your DNA, which is in every cell of your body, you have amino acids. And when you're happy, those amino acids are activated and they vibrate at a higher frequency. You activate about 85 to 90% of those amino acids, and they vibrate, and you vibrate at higher frequency. When you're in fear, less than 20% of those amino acids are activated. So you're not vibrating, you're not sending a message to the universe of who you are. You are, but it's not, the universe is not going to support someone that's in fear, doubt, have unhealthy feelings towards self and so forth, because that is not the destiny of the soul. The soul's not created to live in fear. It's created to live, to support the universe, to the oneness of creation. You have to be, and I don't want to be like, you got to be in a God consciousness all the time, which is love, togetherness, harmony, balance, order, and unity for the good of all. And when you're in that consciousness, your dreams and desires will manifest sooner.
Yes, it's true. And I have a deck of cards called God Mints. My first one is Grand Organizing Design. That's my acronym for God. Grand Organizing Design. I have other ones too. But when you were talking about fear, we're talking about fear, and it stops the growth. It stops the flow. But there are energies that really love the offshoot of the fear, that loosh, that loosh. Those that have controlled our planet for the longest time feed off of that. Those that are in control, that don't want to let go of the power, feed off of that fear.
True, very true.
Loosh. Loosh, Loosh. Loosh. Let it loosh. Let it loosh, I guess. Yeah, so that's really fascinating. How about if we, does anybody have like a question, Megan or Amy or Maria right now?
Any question? Any question relating to anything?
Oh, I love that, Kim.
The golden ones will respond to it. Any question?
Okay.
Personal or overall, any question?
How exciting. I got to think about this.
Okay, so Megan's got her hand up, so let's take Megan. And go ahead and unmute yourself, Megan. I'm sorry, I'm gonna do.
Yes, ma'am. I've got a question.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. The golden ones, are they what is the word I'm looking for? Hindu in origin?
Oh, well, see, there's no religion. Religious teachings are beliefs, all right? everyone is spiritual. Everyone's spiritual. So there's no Cathology, no baptism. Baptist, no Methodist teachings. Those are stepping stones going through carnations, where a soul learns to become more conscious of God. All right, and so through the evolving stages in the spiritual training school, a soul will experience different religious beliefs, eventually leading them to coming into the awareness that all these teachings are eventually they're proved to be false teachings, or they're based on someone, a person. But the golden ones are spiritual beings. They're ascended masters. They have come through this earth spiritual training school. They have mastered all their thoughts, words, deeds, and all the expressions of their beings are to the highest ultimate level of spiritual development. And they are the administrators of this earth spiritual training school. So there's a galactic council which protects this earth as a spiritual training school. They don't allow extraterrestrials to come here and interfere, just like any training school. If you've got a nursery down the street, they don't allow just anyone to walk into the nursery and play with the kids or anything like this. This is like a nursery school for souls attempting to evolve into learning who they are, co-creators of God. And so the golden ones are here for their teachings, to teach these souls on how to become, to believe in who you are. All souls are created in the image and likeness of God. So all souls are God's. But when a soul...
Wait, you said that. Tim, wait, we have to have an applaud or something.
Okay.
Because that was one of the discussions that we had about that. I don't have anything. I don't have reactions. Where's the reaction? Okay, it's a heart. There's a heart. You get a heart. That's cool. Yeah, we're all God. There you go. More hearts. Oh, look at those hearts. Hearts.
So we're all created in the image and likeness of God, but like babies. And the characteristics of God are in their immature form. So we come to earth to discipline and master these immature God characteristics. So we transform them from immature emotions, into God feelings. Excuse me. Emotions, the word emotion means energy in motion. In other words, if you blow up a balloon and you let it go, you don't know where it's going to go. It's energy in motion. So when a soul gets angry, these emotions are activated. There's no telling what the emotion's going to do. If it's hungry and it's really hungry, how much is it going to eat? How much is it going to drink? How angry is it going to get? So the soul has to discipline and master these emotions. And when it happens, they're transformed into a God feeling, from anger to peace, from impatience to patience, and so forth. So that's the purpose of this earth spiritual training school. So the soul learns to discipline and master these immature God characteristics. Now, all souls are connected to the mind of God. There's a universal mind that orchestrates all a soul's life experiences. Nothing happens accidentally. There's no sin. Everything is based on universal laws. If something happens to you, it's based on the universal law of cause and effect, or else the universal law of creation, where things come into your life. There's no accidents, no sins. Everything is orchestrated for the soul to learn from their experiences. Did that help you, Megan?
Yes, sir. I was just getting an image while you were talking of a being and I got a rough sketch of the being. Sometimes has two hands like us, other times it's like the statue behind you, but with more hands. And the statue behind you to your left kind of looks like a warrior and also a monkey.
Mm.
Almost like the sun was gone.
So Megan is quite an artist.
Well-
She did a rendering of me. I mean, can I show it? Oh shoot! Darn it! That's not really good, is it? I mean, it's not showing up good. I don't know how to work my whiteboard and all that stuff. I apologize. I do your work.
No,
No
that's
justice.
okay. That's okay.
It
But,
shows up enough. It's cool. That's really cool.
it reminds me of a serpent, dragon, and we talked at the fair, just like for, hey, how are you? And she picked a big picture of the day card, and then the next day she comes in, or a few days later she comes and this is for you.
Oh, very nice.
I'm like, wow, look at this. Let's see if I can do better. Okay.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and it was like, okay.
Very
So I have it
cool.
on my altar with my cards. I've been working with it. So she's really talented. I'm going to put you on the spot, Megan. Megan
Yes,
is
thank
really super talented. And I've done her numbers, Tim
Mhm.
and Amy and Megan. And I'm like, I have never in the 4 years I've been doing numbers and that. She's all nines in her core numbers. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. She's like done with a lot of stuff. So her life path, her heart's desire, her personal expression, her personality, all 18-9.
Very
That's a
good.
little, it's like, it stuck out like, woohoo, woohoo. So anyhow, Megan's here because Megan needs support in her life. She's got lots of talents and skills, but not real sure that she's still good enough to move out with them. There's some old programming,
Ah,
about that, Megan.
Megan,
you
And so I'm
want
so glad
to
you
see-
showed up, Megan, really.
Megan,
Did you want to see it?
you need to get rid of those feelings, Megan.
Yes, sir.
See,
Sorry.
what happens in our feelings is our soul light body. They're in our third chakras. I don't know if you know anything about chakras or not, but it's in your third chakra is in your emotional body, which is behind the navel. That's where all our emotions are. And in a female, that's where the female is connected to the heart of God. So when a female feels something, she's connected directly to the heart of God. And men don't connect with their feelings. They use their mind. They connect to the mind of God with their logic. But when a woman feels something, that's the truth. That's her divinity. That's her goddessness when she feels something. And so if men have feelings too, and we keep our feelings in our subconscious mind too. And for an example, a feeling like 2 + 2 is 4. And that's a universal feeling and a knowingness for both men and women. So a feeling that, oh, I might not be ready, that's not a universal feeling. That's not a feeling of a god or a goddess. That's a feeling of someone that, I want to be careful, must is the word they're telling me. You must get rid of that feeling, Megan. That's not good. A goddess does not have a feeling like, I'm not good enough, or I may not be ready. It's like, no, get rid of that. You're always ready. You're always ready. We learn by going out there, and if something doesn't, like, oh, I'm not good enough to cook dinner, and then you cook dinner, and all right, maybe you overcook this or you overcook that, but you learn, okay, next time I won't do this. You mature in how you approach it. So we're always ready. We always need to get out there and express who it is we are and learn from the expression. So you're ready. You're ready. Just get rid of that feeling.
Okay, so this is good prep for actually doing the emotional parasite release because it's pretty, it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple.
Pretty simple.
Do we want to have everyone? I'm feeling to have everyone bring up something like Megan. You got now that Tim kind of said a couple things to you, and then you and I talked the other day, and you're well aware of some of the stuff you're feeling that you would like to not feel.
Goddess
So that's the
Renata,
stuff we're talking about. Yes.
let me explain the teaching behind this first, okay?
Perfect.
So
Excellent.
they understand where it's coming from, and it's not coming from me. It's not mine. I was doing ayahuasca. I don't know if you all know what ayahuasca is. It's a shamanic drink in Peru. I went to Peru. I was guided to go to Peru from 2000 to 2005. And one of those years, I would go for like 10 days during the Christmas holiday from December 21st to like the 1st of the year. And during one of the drinkings, the ceremonies, you drink this shamanic drink, which basically takes you through your emotional and physical and spiritual bodies to clean out everything. And the ceremonies last maybe about 6 hours. And the first 3 hours, you go through a clearing process. And the last 3 hours, you go through a gift where they give you a gift or a teachings that will assist you in your spiritual journey. So one gift I got after one of the ceremonies, during the second half of the ceremony, was a vision of a light body, a body of a person, but it was a light body with golden filaments filling up the light body in all different directions. And on some of the filaments were black gobs, a gooey stuff. And the filaments would vibrate with a high resonation, except where the globs were, and then instead of being a ping, it was a plunk. All right, so it didn't vibrate. So I didn't know. I thought, well, this was pretty interesting. This, I think, was back in 2004. Then in 2012, I'm in Sydney, Australia, and I'm at a spiritual conference, and the Egyptian god Thoth came in, Thoth came in, and he explained this process to remove these globs off your light body, which is, I forget what he called it then. I forget what it was called then. And so I took this prayer and I took it home in my meditation and I started using it. And I thought, wow, I'm clearing all these feelings that are not good for my light body, not good for my spiritual development or anything like that. And so during my meditation, I was visited by Arcturians. Arcturians are seventh dimension spiritual beings who are masters of emotions. All right? And they explained to me that these feelings and unhealthy feelings are parasites. And what they do is they will interfere with your thinking. They're intelligent enough to be not just a feeling, but a feeling with intelligence. And they feel when they attach to you, these fears, they're afraid that if you remove them, they will die and perish. And so they don't want to be removed, so they will interfere with your thinking so that if I said, well, Renata, you've got this fear of swimming, let's remove it. And you go, oh no, I think fears are good for me. The parasite will start thinking, saying, oh, I think these fears are good for me because it will make me more energetic to do things and so forth and so forth. And so these fears will interfere so that you do not remove them from your subconscious mind, which is your light body. And it will prevent you from vibrating at a higher frequency. All right. So what you have to do is you have to move through this thinking by the parasite, these emotional parasites, whatever the feeling is that's unhealthy, and just do the prayer and get them off your light body. And when you do this, you'll feel lighter because it's like this heaviness that the fear was is gone. And it goes just like that. You only have to do this once for each fear or unhealthy feelings. You only have to do it once. So that is the training that I had to experience, to go through to experience, so that I could share this with other souls in this Earth Spiritual Training School to assist them in removing these fears and unhealthy feelings. I say unhealthy feelings because some people might have been abused when they were little. And it's a feeling, a haunting feeling that they have of going through something, to be abused by your parents, maybe sexually or physically. And you think about this often. Get rid of it. It doesn't serve you anymore. It's in the past. Everything's in the past. And nothing can happen to you in this Earth Spiritual Training School unless you were a cause to someone else to experience this in this life or previous life. So all things are a release of our abusiveness. So I don't know if that helps you or not. Hopefully that helped you to understand the teachings of this prayer to remove emotional parasites.
And Tim, I'll add that, our training, entrainment has been to go to default mode about stuff. So stuff hangs around in there, and then there's this thing that says you should figure it out. You should kind of loop with it and figure it out and know what it's about. And then when I discovered this teaching, I'm like, oh, no, just let that go. Send it on with love. That's super powerful. Like, it transmutes it and it's gone. I mean, I can say that this is a valuable technique. It's so simple. You wonder, how does that work? But, struggle is not a part of our journey any longer, unless you choose. This is all, we're at a super powerful choice point to be the ripple in the pond, and to know that we actually have an impact on each other, and powerful influencers we all are in our circle of family and friends. That's why it's so important to be out in the world a lot more. So yeah, do we want to demonstrate it?
Sure.
Do we want to give people a couple of minutes to bring up, a little bit of time to bring something up?
Let me explain how it works. What you see, these feelings are in our subconscious mind, which is right above the navel, right behind the navel. That's our feeling body. So that's where these feelings are. And what we're going to do is take the feeling from this. We're going to put our left hand above our navel and our right hand on our heart. And we're going to move this feeling out of our subconscious mind into our heart and release it in love. So the conscious mind can only hold one thought at a time. So I can't be thinking about Peru while I'm sitting here looking at you ladies. So we've got to, same thing with these fears. There's so many fears. We can't say, okay, I want to remove this fear. Well, which one is it? You've got to bring the fear up into your conscious mind. So your spirit knows which one we want to remove. We have many fears, may have many fears in our subconscious mind. We want to pull up this specific one and bring it into our conscious mind. So with our hands in place, and we bring this fear into our conscious mind, excuse me, we'll say these words. And it's very simple. And I'll say it right now very fast. All we're going to say is, this feeling is not mine. This feeling does not belong to me. I release this feeling in love, now and forever. Amen. Instantaneously, that feeling or fear or whatever it is you wanted to remove is gone. You've taken it out of your subconscious mind. You released it through your heart, out of love, into the ethers of the universe. And it's that simple. Now, when I learned this back in 2012, I would go and I may do 10, 15, maybe 10 a day. And then maybe the next week I would do maybe 4 a day, and then in a month later I might do one a day. And now very rarely does something come up that bothers me that I have to use this prayer. So over time,
Okay.
you'll use this several times. Go ahead.
No, I got to add, because I would, after using it for a couple of years, total true, that whatever is holding up a lot of things, this will, as you bring it up to your conscious mind, knock the legs out of it like a tripod. It won't stand up and take a clear picture if you get the thing that, you know what I'm saying? If you get that one of the legs, it like drops it over. When I have any kind of conflict, like I can tell that I'm in conflict about something, I actually use this prayer. You're like, okay, you're good. You can keep that thought if you want to, but you've been looping with this for a long time. Why don't you just let it go? Oh, why don't you just let go of the conflict? Why don't you just love the way things are? Oh, really? So then I do that. I do the prayer over the conflict, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, because we always have choice. We always have choice, but it's like when I'm in conflict, I'm not clear. So I know that, and then I do something. I use this technique to release that. And then I register vibrationally the clarity. It's tangible for me, and it's probably tangible for all of you here that are feeling, do you know? All right. I just had to add that in there too.
So are there any questions before we start? All right. Well, shall we start? Well, first of all, you have to identify something that a fear or unhealthy feeling that you want to remove from your feeling body, from your subconscious mind. So now there's a third person here, Maria. Her mic is off.
Maria's here.
Is she want to participate, and is she ready? I don't know if everyone's ready or not.
Okay, so wait, let's take a couple of minutes just to kind of peruse our mental. I'm in a timer.
What the hardest part may be is pulling it up in your conscious mind,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing like if you're drowning, maybe you're afraid of the water. See yourself, someone pushing you in the water or something like that. Or if you're afraid of heights, standing on a mountaintop, the tip top of a mountaintop, and looking down. And so forth. So you have to be a little creative, but the universal mind knows your intention. So as long as you have the intention and what it is you want to know or want to remove, the universal mind knows it and it will assist you.
Well, I'm going to share mine because I'm going to share mine so that people will be like, oh, okay. So mine sometimes right now, well, it's actually pretty clear, but the fear or the agitation of not being heard, like when I'm speaking, like mind my authority. I feel like the little character in South Park. Listen to me when I speak. And then I had to examine that, like, what is that about, Renata? Really? Where does that come from? So I've had an opportunity to go work with that just recently. And I feel a lot better about that, really, because I just speak when I need to speak. But there was a little hold on me for a while. So that was one of mine.
I understand that.
That's a big one. Yeah, I know.
I understand that. It's like no one's listening.
Yeah. Like, well, do you have to clean your ears out? Like, what, didn't hear me? And like now when I say that, there's not this little girl going around, I'm trying to speak to you. Why not listen to me? Why don't you listen to me? Because that's what that was. And I had to meet her and greet her and go, oh, I'm so sorry. I've been ignoring you for all this time. Let's take care of this for you, okay? And then I'd be like, left hand, right hand. And this feeling of annoyance, agitation, not being heard is not even mine. I release you. and love, now and forever. So be it. Thank you. Oh, that was it. Yeah, so it's like that. So it's a really intimate internal dialogue that you have with yourself, and you just pull it up because you know when you've knocked the legs out of that annoyance or not being heard or feeling abandoned or not being worthy or not being loved or not being graceful or not being enough. Ooh, there's a long list for a lot of us, isn't there? But you don't have to do any of that, but you do have to release it because all we do is we loop and then we come back and we loop again and we come back and we loop again and finally we die. So I don't want to die looping. I want to be really clear. That's my choice.
Yeah, the same looping happens in relationships too. Meeting people that don't honor us and respect us, and then we let them go, and we meet someone else that do the same thing, and then we have to learn to release it, let it go.
Yeah, release it and let it go. And it's amazing how that ripples out and that energetically allows you to resonate and others to resonate and make a connection. It's like fly paper, you know? I mean, it is. It's like Velcro. It allows you to be in your own flow. That's how I like to phrase it. Yeah. So there's no fear, there's no doubt, because doubt cancels out. So there's none of that. And then just the awareness that I can have that level of clarity just for my own personal being is really powerful and empowering. Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Everyone ready? Okay. So we want to put our left hand above the navel, right hand on our heart. We want to visualize and pull up into our conscious mind the feeling or thought or fear or unhealthy energies that are bothering us. With the hands in place and focusing on this negative energy, let's say, this feeling is not mine.
This feeling is not mine.
This feeling is not mine.
This feeling does not belong to me.
This feeling does not belong to me.
I release this feeling in love.
I release this feeling in love.
Now and forever.
Now and forever.
Amen. Now, instantaneously, that feeling should be gone. Now, when I do this with some people, they say, well, I always say, search for it, try and find it. And some people will say, well, for example, someone's afraid of heights or afraid to fly. And I'll do this with them and I'll say, can you find this fear of flying? And they go, well, I really don't know until the next time I take an airplane ride. Well, they really do know, but they're not sensitive to their feeling body. With a woman, it's easier for a woman to say, oh, I know it's gone. With the men, it takes them a little longer because feelings with men is not as easy as feelings are for a woman, because men are more logical than feelings. So hopefully you ladies, I won't put you on the spot and ask you whether it's gone or not, all right? But if anyone wants to express themselves, they can, and if you don't, that's fine. That's fine too. So
I had a fear, like and the way that I gave it to myself, it almost made me cry, was like everybody standing around pointing at me and laughing at me like I was a fool, or like I did the wrong thing, or like everybody was in on a joke that it was at my expense, and And when we were going through it, and as I was releasing it, their hand, because they were all pointing at me, their hands went down. And then there was this elation of upliftment to let it go and have that visual of being uplifted by my loved ones and my friends. So I know that something happened. It was I got goosebumps just telling you about it.
Good.
It's
Very good.
lovely. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Usually you do, Amy, and I didn't want to tell you how you should feel or something like that. But normally that's what happens. You feel like a higher vibration. You feel lighter, and you may feel a tingling sensation and so forth. But normally you feel lighter. You feel, oh, I feel lighter. All right, which is the purpose of it, because when you feel lighter, you vibrate at a higher frequency. And when you vibrate at a higher frequency, universal law of creation will bring your desires and dreams into manifestations. Okay? So keep
That was
Thank you.
wonderful. That was lovely.
doing this. Yeah. Okay? Very
I
simple.
was going to add,
Go ahead.
Tim. Yeah, thank you. I was going to add, when you say find it, can you find it? It doesn't mean that the memory is like gone. You can still like bring it up and like, oh, but the feeling of it is gone. The underlying thing that was holding it up, yeah, and it becomes hard. Like, oh, wow, what was?
Don't feel it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that thought just totally dissipates. I mean, you could pull it up and go, oh, I don't feel the same way.
You can call up, if you're afraid of heights, you can call up that thought again, but the feeling's gone of having control over you and so forth.
Exactly. It's different having something having control over you versus, maybe you should take some mountain climbing, training before you go try to climb that mountain. That would be useful. But yeah, it's just powerful. Yeah, that's an interesting word, powerful, isn't it? Like, what does that really mean? It might be one of those empty words, powerful. Overrated.
Let's see. I think of Superman being powerful, or Goddess being powerful.
Okay. And that word powerful has gotten a bad rap too, like, power over others,
Well, yeah.
because you can. There's been a lot of that going on, power over others because you can. But then we have so much of an ability to transmute that. That's what I like to say. And this is a transmutive process. Move it through you and then put it back out into the universe in a more loving way, which is you release it, so there it makes a clear path. It's like floating. I wonder if did you do anything, Amy, with it? Was that valuable for you, my friend?
Well,
yes, thank you so much.
Oh, okay. And then I was looking at Megan.
I was going to say,
I said Amy. You're good. I know that you did that. What about Megan? Did you do it? Did you do anything with that, Megan?
her.
Yeah, she's muted. Unmute yourself. Yeah, there you go, Megan, sweetie.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I removed some kind of something off of my soul that looked like some kind of like bug, and I felt a whole lot better. And then I also wrote it down on here. Right in the
look at that.
Mm-hmm. But this is what I saw when Tim was talking. But then I removed the thing off my soul, and I felt a whole lot better. I don't know what it was, some kind of parasite, but it felt hermetic too, which is weird because I'm not associated with any hermetic groups, but I feel better.
Interesting.
Well, and Amy, I was going to say, and Amy, I've got you on my mind, Amy. Megan, on Wednesdays, I have that intuitive open circle, and these are the kind of things that we can do in there. So, Maria already knows about that. Amy knows about that, but Megan's here in town. So those are some of the things we can work with a little bit. Okay. Because more things may come up. So I'm happy to support you, Megan, as well as now you know Tim, and you actually know Amy now too. So there you go. And then Maria, you'll see her sometime. But yeah, okay. What? Let me look at our time frame here. Oh, it's 7. It's 7:04. How's everybody feeling about doing the prayer of protection and then closing and then maybe having a few questions?
Now, the prayer of protection. The prayer of protection was given to me when I started to learn how to meditate. And I had a fear of meditating. And while I was meditating, an energy would take over my spirit while I was meditating. And I didn't know what was going to happen to me during meditation. So I didn't want an entity to take over me. So I was given the prayer of protection. And when you say the prayer of protection, I was given the prayer of protection by my metaphysical minister, who was a female. I became a metaphysical minister back in 1986. And she gave it to me probably about 84, 85. I studied with her for 3 years. And I would go into meditation, and I would feel comfortable knowing that whatever happened to me during meditation, it was divine orchestrated. So I started using the prayer of protection, and then when I would meditate, I would feel very, very comfortable. So then one day, I used to get up and walk at about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. I would take my meditation walk before work. Have to be at work by 6. So, and I lived out in the country, and it was a dark road, no street lights. The houses were far off the road, and I would take this walk. And one morning, Sunday morning it was, I felt like someone was standing right behind me. And it's like, this is crazy. I didn't hear anybody approach me, but I had the strangest feeling someone was standing right behind me. It was so strange, I had to turn around and look. Even though I knew I didn't hear anything or anything like that, I had to turn around and look. And when I turned around and looked, no one was there. So I said, oh, okay. So I continued my walk, came home Sunday morning, and the next night, I have 4 boys, and my wife came to me and she says, listen, I think we need to talk to our youngest son. I says, why? She says, well, when he goes into the bathroom, he thinks when he looks in the mirror, he's going to see someone standing behind him. And I says, oh, I know what happened. So at the time, I didn't believe that, I believed in ghosts at the time. And I believed in souls attaching to you, but I didn't think a soul could attach to another person. And this is how the golden ones teach me. And because I have to experience these things. So it says, okay, I had a meditation room. I call it the green room, the healing room. I says, take them upstairs. I'll meet you up in the green room, and I'll talk to them. So it was my wife, my son was sitting across from me. And I says, all right, I'm going to say this prayer and let me know how it affects you. So I started the prayer of protection. And it only takes like 5 seconds, 10 seconds. And when I was finished, he goes, it's gone. I says, well, what do you mean it's gone? He says, well, while you were saying the prayer, I could feel this thing vibrating, spiraling out of me and leaving me. He says, it's gone. He says, can I go to bed now? I kind of chuckle. I says, yeah, you can go to bed now. So what it was my teachers, the golden ones, teaching me that this is a prayer to assist souls to go to the next level of soul development, because we have free will when we die, and you don't have to move on. Some souls want to stay behind sometimes because they don't know they died, for one reason. Another reason is they take care of a loved ones and they don't want to leave the loved ones, so they won't move on after 3 days. They'll stay behind. Now, especially in China, we have grandparents that take care of the children from the time they're born to the time the child goes to school in high school. And when the grandparent dies, they don't want to leave the child, so they'll stay behind. And I have had experience with attached souls to high school students here in China, affecting them in not a very good way. And so this is how the Golden Ones taught me that the prayer of protection will remove energies from your home and from your work environment and from your personal space, wherever it is. So it's a very simple prayer. And like I said, I do it before I meditate. I have I have parents and their children come into my home. And what happens is when a soul is trapped, people that are spiritually aware vibrate at a higher frequency. Your aura is brighter. And these trapped souls will know that your aura is brighter. And these trapped souls believe that you can help them. So they will attach to you, thinking that, oh, this person can help me because they have a spiritual aura brighter than some of the other people that I see around here. So knowing that, I do the prayer protection each day after people come into my home and they leave. I have to clear my home of any attachments that may come, and knowing that I can assist them. And yes, I'll leave it there. So that's the purpose of the prayer protection, so that you now, just like emotional parasites, trapped souls will affect the way you think. Where you normally don't do something, now you start thinking about doing something. I have a young high school student recently who was affected by a trapped soul, and she wanted to commit suicide on a couple of occasions. Now, the trapped soul wanted someone to be, the trapped soul took care of this young girl in high school for many, many years. And now she wanted the young girl to join her in the spirit world. So she was trying to influence the young girl to commit suicide so she would die and be with, they could be together again. So they do influence the way you think, and it has happened to me before where I was tricked. Well, I wasn't aware of it, and until my teachers pointed out to me that I had an attachment. And I go, And then once I did the prayer, I felt fine again. So I know the prayer works in a very simple prayer. And so it's on the website along with the emotional healing, parasite healing prayer. It's on the website. So very simple. And so are we ready? Renata?
Ready? Do you want to say it? Do you want me to say it? I can do it.
Yeah, you say it, huh?
I love it. All right.
Now, let me,
okay.
I don't know when you say this if you have the proper ending.
I don't know.
Let me say it and then I'll explain to you. And I want to make sure you have the proper ending.
You're good. You're good.
Okay.
No, not a challenge.
If I'm alone, there's words that we have the universal law of cause and effect. What you do to another will be done unto you. So when you do something to another, even out of love, you have a repercussion that comes back to you. There are many healers in the past that would heal. Now, no one heals, all right? Everyone's a channel for healing. You allow the energy to come through you, but you're not the healer. Only God can heal. Only God can create life, and only God can heal. All you're doing is directing God's energy in a certain direction so God will heal. So when we do the prayer of protection, we're asking protection for ourselves. Now, we have a group here, and I'll say the prayer and I'll explain the ending of the prayer. And Renata, honey, I don't know if you have this version of it or not, okay? So I'll say the prayer, all right? So here we go. Mother, Father, God, we thank you for surrounding us in a circle of light and an armor of love, in which nothing can remain and through which nothing can penetrate, unlike divine love itself. We thank you for removing all energies and entities, unlike divine love, taking them to thy Father for light and liberation. The Mother, Father, God, frees these souls and frees these energies and entities, and I am accepts no reversal, individually or collectively, for the treatment of these energies and entities. We thank you in the name of the living God, consciousness. Amen. And I say, I accept no reversals individually and collectively because I take responsibility for any energies that may be affecting anybody else that I'm doing the prayer protection for. So it's like, if I just say, I don't want anything to happen to me, well, I don't want anything to happen to anybody else I'm representing either. So I accept no reversal individually or collectively, so it protects everyone from the universal law of cause and effect. Okay,
And
huh?
that's wonderfully on your website, and it's actually on my YouTube channel too. So it's all good. That's perfect, Tim.
Okay, hon. I just wanted to make sure. All right.
No, that was good. I can send that to you and Megan. I'll send it to Megan, Maria, and Amy. And maybe next time we gather, I'll know how to work the whiteboard and show stuff. But no one hold their breath, including myself. This may be as good as it gets. But that would be okay, I know. And we'll
Everything,
work out bugs, Amy. You and I will work out bugs. I guess we will.
everything is divine orchestrated.
But Tim, when you did break that down about because I did ask you about that. So what does that mean? Like, I accept no reversal personally or collectively for the treatment of these souls. And then you broke that down and explained, because a lot of healers were doing work and dying because they were
Yes,
taking
that
stuff on. That was
dying,
what that was. I'm like, oh, okay.
dying of what they were healing the other person for. So if they were, let's say they were working on a person with cancer and they were believing they were healing the cancer, well, it's like the law of cause and effect. What you do to another will be done unto you. So now you have cancer. And so it's like all life, cancer is a life form, and God creates all life, whether it's termites or ants or rats or cancers or disease. It all has a purpose, and no one has the right to kill anything. Only God creates life, and only God takes life. So you're interfering with the laws of God's laws when you think you're a healer. It's like you're above everybody else. Not true. No one's above anyone else. We can all be channeled for God's love and healing to assist others.
And Tim, I must say that I'm probably the one on this call that I had a thing about the God thing, just because everybody seemed to talk about it like it was this white man up in the sky
Mm.
that would give you this and give you that. And I'm like, as I've had more discussions with people, like, well, that's not even anything real, Renata. That's why I started doing my deck, the grand organizing design, and having some fun with it, because it's just an energy. But there is some entrainment out there that it's something else. I'm like, yeah. So I just had to add that in there.
Well,
Share that.
see, it's difficult for some people to accept that they are responsible, to take responsibility for who they are. So it's easier to blame the devil or blame God or that you're cursed or something like that without taking responsibility for yourself. And then there's a fear. I'll say it, the Catholic Church creates this Jesus Christ is God, the only Son of God. Not true at all. Not true at all. Even Jesus said, the things I do, you will do, but even greater. So there's no heaven, there's no hell. The spirit is always evolving. And with each incarnation, the soul evolves and becomes wiser and learns to discipline and master the immature God characteristics within them, within each carnation. So once you accept that, it's me. I can't blame my wife, can't blame my neighbor. It's me. I created this. And even when you don't know what you've done, why is this happening to me? The universal law of creation, we might have done something in a previous life that we weren't able to handle in that life. And now in this life, we have to handle it. And that would be a good topic for our next discussion, is why there's pain in the body and why there's birth defects and so forth. And why is someone born without arms and such and such? No accidents in life. Everything's based on cause and effect. And what you do to another will be done unto you.
And that is just a wonderful visual to, again, be in it, but not of it, and to have a broader perspective of what that's all about. Instead of projecting our sympathy onto, oh, poor, I mean, that's, you see someone handicapped and like, that's got to be awkward, that's got to be awkward.
Compassion.
Yeah, but then it's the idea of that larger perspective. And so Tim and I had planned another conversation for the end of the month. So the ones present will get another invitation, and I will put this out: invite another friend. Invite another friend. And this is part of the ripple. So Amy, the ripple has already started. I was going to text you and tell you that, but the ripple has already started. I could be in touch with Megan and Maria and Amy. Oh, and yeah. So there you go. I don't know if we have anything else to say. What does everybody feel? Was this a good conversation?
Of course they're going to say yes. You don't ask them that question. Oh my God, Renata.
Because you can kind of tell. You can ask the question. Amy smiled. Megan's drawing somebody, so I want to see what Megan's come up with. And Megan looks very pretty. Megan came to the store yesterday, and then she likes black. She had black on. So, I'm the woman of color. I said, do you wear the colors? And then look at her now. She's got like purple, and she's got her hair down. She's got some lips on. You look goddess-like, Megan.
Purple's a very
goddess Megan.
Purple's a very spiritual color.
Goddess Maria. All right. So conversations. I think conversations is done. Let's give ourselves a clap. I'm going to go ahead and turn off. And Tim, for the last, do you want to give your website, your YouTube channel, and all of that for people, my friend?
Oh, you can do that.
Okay.
You can do that if they're interested in it. Okay. I'll send this video out, and it's on my website for anybody else. But if your friends are interested, you can share that with them, Goddess Renata.
Okay, that sounds perfect. Then I'll go ahead and this will get posted on my YouTube channel too. And I'll send this out to all of you, so you'll have it. Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
This is wonderful for the first time out with conversations with Goddess Renata and guests. And so thank you everybody that supported us. Appreciate it. We'll see you again at the end of the month.
Much love, ladies.
So much.
Much love.
Yeah.
Much love.
Much love.
I'm going to go ahead and end.
See all the teachings of the Golden Ones at www.thepathtowoneness.com. Also at YouTube, Timothy Doyle, The Golden Ones. Visit us at Facebook and link it at The Path to Oneness.